Right. So hello everybody. It's a Friday. Hopefully everyone's makan or went for prayers or done whatever needs doing already. So today I'm just going to be showing you guys how I use RenPy lah. I'm not sure whether you have experience in it, but I'll just share with you what it is. Right. Okay. So, for those of you who may not know what a visual novel is basically an interactive novel, right? It's like I would say a game, but it's mostly focused on dialogue and choices. More advanced visual novels will have mini games in them, right? Or extra systems. And RenPy is one of I would say, the easiest for people who maybe not programming centric, right? But want to create games. RenPy is an easy way to jump in. And the cool part is games made on RenPy can also be exported out to a number of different platforms. Right? This is a website, renpy.org. Comes with a lot of documentation and tutorials and such, but as I know, sometimes too long didn't read, right? So I'm here to just simplify it in this demonstration today. You can download the latest version, all right? But they are all inside the folder that I've given you already, right? There's a whole bunch of RenPy games. Over here, there's a RenPy game list. So as you can see, there's a specific like type of stories that you can tell. So they visual novels, kinetic novels, role-playing games, simulation, and other types of games, right? Now the cool part about RenPy is you can actually export out exe files and such, which means that a lot of people actually go to itch.io and sell their RenPy games here, right? Now before I go on, right, just a note I'm going to be switching on my safe search because I'm not sure the age of everyone here. All right, okay, I'll come back in. Yeah. So I'm going to switch on my safe search. Where is it? Profile. Where is this? Okay, don't show content marked as adults and such, right? Because itch.io has all sorts of games, right? So, okay, save. Go back to browse. And so happens to be a lot of people use visual novels as a way to tell, how would I put it, not safe for work stories, all right? So if I were to go to a visual novel, and I like there, visual novel. These are all examples of visual novels. A lot of them are about dating and girlfriend, boyfriend, and stuff like that. And there's a lot of furry content as well inside here. So by switching on that filter, at least I've removed some of the adult stuff, right? So some stuff might still seep through, but less, right? So as you can see, a lot of people actually upload their RenPy games, and some of them are free, some of them are paid for, like $5, $5, $10. So I do think it's actually a valid way to actually produce and also publish games and sell games and make a living out of it. Especially when you don't have a huge team or huge technical expertise, right? Maybe you are more of a storyteller, come artist, right? And you like a certain style of art, then RenPy could be something for you. There are many visual novel engines out there. This happens to be one that I'm more familiar with, and I feel it's useful for people. All right. Now, having said that, let me jump forward. Inside the folder, I provided you with some files, right? So we have some sample assets, the software itself. This is a guide that I wrote. Basically, I filtered out all the information in an easy to follow kind of document for people, right? So once you've downloaded all this, these are all the same files that are on my desktop over here. As you can see, let me change my backdrop. Personally, I'm the kind that don't use any picture, so solid color. Okay, right. I'm very boring, and so I like to go all black. So so we got the guide and stuff like that. So let me just open the guide first. You see a whole bunch of just lines of script. So I'll use this to explain what's happening. And the language, the scripting language used in RenPy is very straightforward, very easy, right? And that's why someone like myself who has no technical background, right, can actually start using RenPy. There, even the if statements are a little bit more, I would say, value added really in this sense, right? But if you want to do a simple game that just has choices, then what I'm going to show you is more than enough for it, right? Now, I'm going to open the sample. Okay, I might additional what's here. Okay, so software. When you download RenPy, there's exe file, right? I throw in Krita here lah. So if anyone wants Krita, it's also another open source software for creating art. RenPy, just double click it, export it to maybe some folder on your desktop. So the cool part is you don't have to install RenPy, right? So some of you don't like to install stuff, you can just unpack it, right? And from my meager understanding, if I'm not mistaken, RenPy is written in Python, hence the name RenPy. Okay, so here's the file all unpacked already, right? If I open it, here's the SDK, double click it, then we can see all these files over here, right? So these folders all, this is where you put in your artwork and stuff like in order to play, to launch. But to just launch this RenPy, just double click the renpy.exe. Oh, sorry, Akmal. Okay, hold on. Let me get the link again for you. Copy, paste. Okay, all right. So I'll just double click the exe. Any point of time, right? You all just pause me for a while. You can always just go message in the chat room. I have the chat room going on another screen, right? So as you can see over here, you have this. This is the software itself, right? So you have folders here. These are open directories. So your game folder, your game files, images, audio, GUI. So these two are different games. These are the default games that come with the installer, right? Tutorial, and this is the question, right? And these are all the scripts in the folder. So if I want, let's say like the question, if I were to press the images here, it will pull up the folder with all my assets inside here, right? If I close this, if I go to tutorial and I press images, it will pull up a different set of images, all right? So if I want to play any one of these, I can just go down over here to launch project. Then if I want to build the exe, let's say I've done I'm happy with the game I built, right? I can just go to build distributions. You can see that it allows you to export out to many different like platforms. It's quite cool. Like and it's free. Most importantly, it's free. So if I just press launch project here, you see it will open up, right? So you have the question, RenPy 7 edition. So all these GUI placements, everything can change, the image, everything can change, right? But we will just press start first just to play this game. Yeah. So it tells you a story, there's an image in the background, right? Now this is a tutorial kind of story, so it's a bit cheesy lah, right? So this person somehow meets this girl, right? The person has known Sylvie since they were kids. She's always been a good friend to me, right? And then the character wanted something more. So you can see all these are just narrative, like a visual storybook lah, right? And then it comes to points where you can actually have choices, right? As she catches my eye, I decide to ask her right away or ask her later. So you can design all these different branching outcomes. So if I want to ask her right away, right, the dialogue changes, right? It goes on. All right. So you change the background, you change the character, right? I'm just skipping through this, right? So what's a visual novel in interactive book? Right? So yeah, so in this default story, the demonstration is very straightforward. It's just choices and choices and choices, right? Which actually people do buy and people do spend money on. Suddenly the character asks you to marry her. right? This game very accelerated now. Right? Okay, happy after, ever after, so good ending. So you can actually have multiple different types of endings as well, depending on how you branch out your story. Right? So in essence, that's just to demonstrate to you how RenPy will look on a normal basis. Then I can quit, right? Then in the folder itself, where is the folder? Right? You can see that there's a folder here called the question, and there's a folder here called tutorial. So strangely enough, whenever you create a new game, it's just going to be chucked inside this root folder, right? If I go to the question, you will see that these are all the images, GUI buttons, everything that is related to that game itself. So for example, if I were to go online and download more RenPy games to try out, right? I can go to go sample, like this is something I made last time, right? So let me just throw this in, the key, right? And this is a tomato clinic. Tomato clinic, let me export this. So tomato clinic, if I'm not mistaken, is a RenPy game, right? But this is the EXE version, this is the distribution version of it. Someone finished the game, they put it out there. So this is what they're selling, right? So if I were to double click tomato game, you can see so it's highly customizable. There's a lot of things that you can actually add to it, right? Do you want sound captions? Okay, the image is okay. Oh, what? No. Right. So you can actually do a lot of stuff. Yes. Okay. Sorry, a bit loud. All right. So you have actually a lot of control over how RenPy looks. But of course, more control means more effort. Like if you want to change anything, right? Yeah. Hello. Okay. Then you see characters, pop in, choices, right? Now we won't play this whole game because I want to jump straight into how to build something already, right? So I'm going to quit here first. How do I quit? This console is very highly customized already. Right? Like even myself also, I haven't gone to the stage of playing around with all the GUI. I'm by no means an expert right? I just thought this was pretty interesting to share, especially during a game jam. All right, so we have that. Now we want to create our own game. So what I'll do is I'll press create a new project. Let me close this first, right? And we'll move all this to the side. All right, I'm going to create a new project. English language, yeah, you can also upload different font files for customized languages as well, right? So I'll name this Global Game Jam Demo, right? Not very creative, but never mind. Okay, I'll choose the resolution I want. So 1280720 is okay for me, right? Change some of these basic settings. Now all this can be adjusted later on. Okay, so it creates a new project. You can see over here, Global Game Jam Demo is over here, updating the project. All right, so now you can see there's Tomato Game, there's the tutorial, there's question, there's the key, and Global Game Jam Demo. Now inside Global Game Jam Demo, all these folders are created, but there's nothing inside here yet, right? So images is the folder where you mostly put all the characters, the backgrounds, and all that. So I'll open it up first, right? It's empty now, so that's why I prepared some basic assets right? Very beautiful assets. Okay, this character, different expressions, all right, and a beautifully drawn background, right? Because I then can produce AAA games, right? So all this artwork, I will just drag it into the images folder, right? Go back, leave it alone, right? So my images are inside there now, and how would you start going about it? You will start editing the script.rpy file, right? When you click on this, if it's the first time that you launch RenPy, it will ask you to download a text editor, right? In particular, I kind of prefer the JEdit. So you will download a small text editor that requires Java. So I clicked on this. Maybe I have to wait a little bit. I guess I should have did this before the workshop, but I forgot about this. All right, so okay, done. Excellent. Some of you might have to install Java first. So if you have problems with that, right, you might actually have to go to where's the site? Like java.com, right, and download the latest version of Java lah, right? If nothing wrong, then should be okay lah. Okay, so proceed. So ta-da! So this is the text editor, which is huge, by the way. Right, the script goes into this file. So everything that happens in the game is here lah. All right. Now, while this is here, we can see that let's run this demo first. When we create a new game, right, there's actually some basic script over here already. So if we play the game, then we can see what the script does. All right. So let's launch this project as well. So no image, nothing, very boring. Okay, start. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, because the pictures are not inside here. Okay, never mind. Don't worry about it. Never mind. You know what? Since this can't work, let's delete this. Let's try it. Let's start from scratch again. Okay. Delete. Now, let's see. I'll be opening my guide file, right? Because I cannot remember syntax to save my life, right? So I will be copy pasting from my file, which is on another screen, in case you're wondering what I'm doing. Okay. So over here, first of all, we can define characters lah. So for example, earlier on I got those pictures. My pictures are A underscore angry, A underscore LOL, A underscore sad, and B, right? And there's a background.png. So all these are my pictures over here. Before that, we can just start something simple first. Let me just try. So label, start. Then we define there scene. Wait, give me a second. It's been some time since I did this, right? So okay, first of all, I need to define my items first. So let me define image, right? So when I call this background, all right, I will point it at this file, which is background.png. So bg.png. All right, cool. So over here in my scene, I can type the background, and it will call up this picture whenever I call back, summon the background. All right. All right. Let's try. Hold on, give me a second. Then I come over here, I just put return. Okay. Let's see what the hell happens. So I save my file. Okay. Launch the project. Hope it works. Start. Nothing one. Oh. Start. Okay. See, so far it's got error already. Okay. Sorry about that. Hold on. Scene background. Okay. Right. Let's try something else because there's only background here. Maybe nothing appears. So I'll just put some text first. Right. This is the first scene. Let me see whether this will work or not. Right. And I will save this again and launch the project. Start. Okay. So okay, it works. So it loads up the first scene with the background image there, and it shows you this text. Earlier, I didn't have any text, so I guess the game just doesn't start lah, right? This is the first scene. So if I were to, yes. So if I were to write another line, right? Like for example, this is the second line, right? And I would save it, and then just make one more lah, just to demonstrate, right? this is the third line, right? And I will save this. Now I'm going to launch the project, right? So in theory, it should read 1, 2, and then 3 lah. So let's launch it first. So start, it will show the background. This is the first scene. When I click once, it will go to the second line, right? And then click one more time, it goes to the third line. And then it goes to return. So return, it goes back all the way to the top, right? Or it ends the game, return back to the main menu, all right? So quit. Now, this is relatively straightforward, right? And you can already basically type in an entire novel into it, and then people can read it scene by scene. Okay. Now, if we were to, let's try to put a character into the game now, right? So to put a character into the game now, I would definitely want to, give me a second. I would want to define more images, so I can put there image, all right? Wait, give me a moment. Okay, image, A, all right, I'll give it a name. Let's say Jimmy, right? Jimmy equals a dot png, all right? And then image Jimmy angry, Jimmy angry, all right, equals a underscore angry dot png. So I'm just turning all my files into tags lah, right? Sorry, I don't know the exact terminology. I just whack me usually, but hopefully you all get it lah. LOL, all right. Okay, equals a underscore LOL dot png, right? And maybe let's just do this Jimmy set, right? Okay, a underscore set dot png. Okay, so I've labeled all these images already, and of course the last one is B lah. B will be the other guy facing the other side, right? So Jimmy and Bobby, right? Save. Should work. So now over here in the scene, I can actually put in another line of code that says show Jimmy, right? And save, and we launch the project. So as I start, it will show Jimmy, right? You will smack him right in the middle. So all the size of this character and all that, right? I would of course recommend that you already size it accordingly in Photoshop or whatever graphic software that you do, right? This image is actually 1920 by 1080, huge. I mean full HD. The problem is I made the game to run on 1280 by 720. Therefore, the image is actually much larger than the game itself, as you can see, right? And the characters are like super humongous, right? By default, they will put him in the middle, right? But I can, of course, let's see. Okay, so I can also control his positioning by going to show Jimmy what at right. Save. Oh, start. Wait, let me try to refresh the code. How do I refresh the code? Reload Shift R. Okay, Shift R, return. Shift R. Okay, try. So Shift R, so I don't have to close the game and restart the game, right? I just refresh the code. So now Jimmy appears on the right side of the screen, as you can see, right? At the same time, I can also pull in Bobby, right? So I can come here and show Bobby at left, and I can save it, right? Come over here, so you can see that it refreshes, right? So this is the first scene. Now, if you want to do a dialogue where one fella is talking to the other fella, right, then I can just, I need to make sure that I got all this correct. Sorry. Right, so I would go and define stuff. I would define, let's say, Jimmy equals character bracket Jimmy, right? So whenever I type the word Jimmy, it will label it as Jimmy over here. So when in the dialog, all right, let's say this dialog over, changes to some text lah, right? I can come here and type here Jimmy, right? And maybe change this to like, hey, what's up, Bobby, right? How you doing? All right. And then over here, if I were to do the same thing for Bobby, I'll come here, define Bobby, right, as character name Bobby. Okay, so come over here. I can go create a conversation where Bobby seems to be like talking to Jimmy. Okay, now Bobby has a very angry expression, so maybe you can draft something that fits it, right? Life sucks. Go away. All right. And then Jimmy replies with, what? What's wrong with you? Right? I'm not a dialogue writer, so sue me. Right? So I'm going to save this now. And we come over here. So you see Jimmy, now the character name is Jimmy. Hey, what's up, Bobby? Right? How are you doing? If I click once, now it seems to be that Bobby is speaking, life sucks, go away. Right? And then I click again, now it seems like Jimmy is responding to him. So in essence, this is the simplest way to create a like dialogue, text, or story. So if I don't put the Jimmy or Bobby, then it's just text lah, right? So for example, I have to put here the two of them stare at each other awkwardly in silence, right? If I were to save this, then this would just appear as text without the name. Okay. So far I hope I still have all of you, right? Despite how like clumsy I look when I'm typing script, right? Hopefully this makes sense to you all. And it's relatively straightforward. So I just define all the characters, I define all the images here, right? And then I can actually start telling a story right here, right? A, B, C, D, F, G. Right now, let's try to add in something a little bit more advanced. So like we saw the name here, character Jimmy and Bobby, right? The color of this is like is by default what we set initially, right? But we can also go in there and change things like color, right? Sorry, color, very American. Let's see, what color can I think of? Let me just grab some random color lah. C8, FFC8, for example. Right, this is hex colors which you can get from either Photoshop or even Microsoft Paint also. If I'm not mistaken, in Microsoft Paint, if you have any image or something or such, right? Can you get the color from here? Edit color. Oh no, there's no hex here. All right. My hex colors you can get from Photoshop or any other drawing software, but maybe not Paint. Okay, not from the looks of it. Right. I'm imagining things now already. Don't save this. Right. But so if you know the color, you can type it in here. Also, don't forget the hash. Right. So, and then Bobby can be and you can leave Bobby as is. So save it. All right. So Jimmy's name, his color is a different color, right? So there are a lot of things that you can actually change, like in this manner, right? But I'll leave it to you all to dig further inside the documentation if you want to, right? But as is, you can actually start to produce a story. Now this label is like a chapter, right? So let's try to see what else can we do. Give me a second. We can fade in the scene as well if I were to put a line of code with fade. Right? Let's save this. So in theory, the background should fade in. Right? I don't know if you can see or not. Doesn't look like it. Save. Without a hash, not working. Oh, okay, something went wrong. So my spacing caused a problem here, right? All right, so Joan says, Joan, right? I hope I'm not misspelling that one, sorry. Yeah, but Joan says without a hash also it works, so awesome, even better, right? Okay, so we've got this done. Let me see what else. So we can change the position, as you can see, right? You have left, right, and center, and so they actually use quite straightforward English language lah. All right. Okay, now how about making choices? Now we want to create choices, right? Okay, all the way here. So we're going to leave all this first. Let me just tidy it up, right? Just tidy it up a bit so I can clump them together, right? Okay, and then over here, let me see. Okay, I'm going to create something called a menu. I'm going to pull up a menu here. Menu, all right? Okay, bracket. What should happen? Let me see. What choices can I give him? Insult Bobby, right? And the other choice would be I'll give him what? Ignore Bobby. All right. Now this will create two options. Let's see how it works. If I don't do anything, let me see how it works. Oh no, it doesn't work. All right. Because I need to give some kind of function to it. Right. Also, I missed out this as well. Right. Let me save this. Okay. So I didn't finish it up, so now there's an issue here, but don't worry about it. So menu, all right. Now what will happen when you insult Bobby? So we can jump to another label. So I can create a label here. All right, insult, right? And then I'll create another label here, which is called ignore. Right? And I can continue the story however I would like to. So over here in insult, I can say Jimmy would say, "Your mama so fat." Mama so fat. I don't know what mama jokes I have, but yeah, we'll leave it at that first, all right? And then if he decides to ignore, right, we can just maybe say something like, Jimmy ignores Bobby's rude attitude and decides not to engage with him. All right, close. We'll stop there. All right, your mama so fat. Right. So over here in the menu, so when you choose insult Bobby, let me just tap this out. Wait. Insult Bobby, we want to jump to insult, right? So when you choose this option over here, the story will ignore this part, will bypass this and jump to the insult label. Let's hope it works. And if I ignore him, all right, it should. It's very susah to. Okay, it should jump to ignore. All right. Let me see whether I got to all this correct. Okay. All right. So either choice, right? So if you insult him, then it goes to this path. If I ignore him, it jumps straight to this, right? But at the end of the day, both of them should join back again. That's how I would build this, right? So I would create another label here. Continue. All right. So the story can continue on. So life goes on. Okay. There we go. Now, so if I insult him, so Jimmy will say your mama so fat, and then it will jump to continue. All right. If I ignore him, Jimmy ignores the character, and I will also jump to continue. So either way, right, it will resume back over here. So let's test this. Hopefully don't hang, no error. Okay, so we see now got still error. Okay, fine. Ignore Bobby. Now the cool thing about the RenPy is it will actually tell you where you messed up really, right? So game script line 27, line 27 is over here. Ignore Bobby, right? So if I'm not mistaken, it should be it because of this problem lah. Okay, yay, right? So what's wrong with you? Now you can see that the menu option comes into play lah, right? So you can either insult him or you can ignore him, right? If I were to insult him, your mama so fat, right? It will jump, it will bypass this line here, it will jump straight to insult, this label insult. And then when you're seeing this now currently, then it will jump straight to continue. So it will bypass this label over here. So if I click here now, it will jump to life goes on, right? I hope you all get it. Now, if I were to go back and start again, okay, if I ignore him, it will jump to the ignore result. So it will bypass this label inside, it will jump straight over to here, label ignore, and then it will jump to life goes on. So let's try. So ignore Bobby. So Jimmy ignores Bobby's rude attitude and decides not to engage with him. Okay, life goes on. Ta-da! All right. So we actually have the basis of a choice-based interactive story, right? So if you were to build a whole, like a, how put it, a lot of planning is required lah. To be fair, when you're building a RenPy game, then you need a lot of planning, right? But at least we know that this part works first, right? So any questions first of all, not about this like this menu options like splitting and interactivity here. Relatively straightforward, right? The return is basically the end lah, so we skip that, right? So life goes on. Right now, let's see. Okay, no one in the chat, no issue, so I assume that no issue lah. All right, let's go on. Now, what else can we work on? We can also put in things like if statements. For example, let's say you want to make it a little bit like an RPG where a person can pick up an object and then later on it will check to see, the game will check to see whether you have the object before allowing you to proceed. And maybe for example, you pick up a key, right? And this key allows you to open the door or something like that. So we'll try to do something along that lines, right? Now, let's try. Give me a second. Let me find the correct thing that I'm working on. Okay. So we can create if I'm not mistaken, it's called a variable. So default, let's create variable called key, right? And we put this as false. So it's a Boolean statement, so then it can be either true or false, right? And then once we've created this here, so in the beginning, maybe your character has no key, right? So default key, the default for this would be false. You haven't found a key yet. And we go back to these two jokers, right? Bobby and Jimmy, right? We go down here. Okay. All right, let's try. We'll leave all this here and we move on to the bottom here, all right? So we start afresh. Now, we can put something there. Let's continue the story. The two of them come across a treasure chest, right? Now you can create a if statement. So if key, all right. Sorry, must use the right semicolon. If I'm not mistaken, it's called a semicolon. Right. If key, let's see. Guess what? This treasure chest looks like it's locked. Right? But good thing I found a key. All right, and then we can jump to maybe let's name it first a good ending lah, right? Else we can go in there and put darn it, this treasure chest is locked and I don't have a key and I don't have a key. All right, jump, bad ending. Okay, now since we have good ending and bad ending, now definitely we have to create the label good ending and label bad ending. Say label good ending, or we do label good ending, all right? Or we do label bad ending first, because label good ending will be the one that we want to aim for, right? So bad ending, pop up. Jimmy and Bobby go on with their lives, unable to ever find out what was ever in that treasure chest. I apologize, I'm making this story up as I go along. So, all right. And then we can, I'll say, jump to end. Okay, it's fine. Leave it at that. Now we label good ending. Jimmy, sorry, you see, I never follow properly. My tab should be Jimmy and Bobby unlock the chest and find heaps of treasure. Right? They retire happily ever after. Happy. They retire happily ever. Okay. For some reason, my language skills will go out, right? They retire happily ever after, and then I can jump to the end. Oops. Right. Last one, label end. This is the end of story lah, right? You can put there, thank you for playing. Right. This is the world's shortest game. Okay, so currently, you'll check to see whether if the key is true or false over here lah, right? If it's true, then it will play this line, right? Otherwise, it will play this line, right? And it will jump to the bad ending, so you get this bad ending. Or if you have good ending, it will jump to the good ending, and both of them will eventually end up here. Thank you for playing. Let's test first, let's save first, Ugh. Oh shit. Okay. Goodness gracious. Line 47. Oh wait, wrong one is it? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, line 51 also got problem. Line 51. Else should have. Let me just save again to the line 65. Oh yeah, okay, this one needs this. And then else should have semicolon. Let's save and see. No. It should be this one. Okay. Why on earth, man? Okay, sorry. Here we go. So, hey, what's up, Bobby? So far, everything's okay, right? Ignore insult, the same thing. The mama's so fat, right? Life goes on. Now, the two of them come across the treasure chest. Darn, this treasure chest is locked, and I don't have a key. Then Jimmy and Bobby go on with their life, unable to find out what was ever in the treasure chest. Treasure chest, sorry, spelling. Thank you for playing, right? So, because this is still false, right? We didn't put anything inside that enables you to set it to true, right? So for the time being, this is what you will get lah. Right? Let me just fix that spelling error first. Treasure chest, okay. But you can see that at least the script is working here lah. colon is the double dot. Okay, this semicolon is the one with the comma, is it? All right. Oh, this in the next 2 months, I forget what is it called again. Semicolon, colon, apostrophe, exclamation mark. Okay, so now let's try to create a situation where if you insult Tommy, you will get a key. All right. So if I insult over here in the menu, if I insult Tommy, jump to insult, your mama so fat. You can put there a line, a key magically appears in front of Jimmy, right? This is a game world, anything can happen. So we can put there $sign key equals true. So we have now set it to true instead of the original default, which is false. Right? So we set this to true now. And then the story will go on. So let's save this now. Okay, it didn't hang, great. So let's start the game. Okay, so if I were to ignore him, then I will not get the key lah, basically, right? And the story will end up in a situation where I do not have the chance to open the treasure chest, right? But if I were to pick the key, so now I'm going to come here, I'm going to insult him. Okay, Mama so fat. A key magically appears in front of Jimmy. Now this is where you can actually make a key just appear there lah. You can just put there, you can draw a key there and then show key, right? And then it appears. Life goes on. So now you come across a treasure chest, the game will check. If it's true, guess what? This treasure chest looks like it's locked. But good thing I found the key, right? And therefore you unlock the chest and find heaps of treasure. Awesome. They retire happily ever after. Okay. Thank you for playing. Now, initially, remember we had different faces, right? Like lol and all that kind of thing. So we can actually just we show Jimmy at right. So what we can do is we can actually change all these illustrations to, like, for example, if I come over here and the key magically appears, right? I can show Jimmy lol. Okay, lol at right. So I can hide Jimmy, the old one first. Hide Jimmy, right? And then I show Jimmy lol at right. So let's see whether it works. Insult Bobby. All right. A key magically appears. Right. So it hides the previous picture and it shows the new picture. Yes. Make it to move. Yes, you can. I've seen it done. I personally do not know how to do it yet, right? But I have seen it done. You can make the characters slide around also, right? Or you can make things like camera shake, right? And small little details like that. Those are I would say the value added stuff lah, right? So you can change the image like this. Okay. Let's see what else can I cover. That means I should really revise my this document that I give to you all. Right? Okay, so the main stuff. So in essence, right, most of the main stuff to create a game, right, is here already. Right? You can actually use all this to create at least simplistic games, lah. Right? I have seen people use the like more complex scripts to make like a battle system, a simple battle system, or such, or even like a mini game inside here. But that one will require more time and knowledge, lah. Right? Let me close this first. Hold on, give me a second. So this one, you know what? I'll just post this inside the group later, all right? But let's see what else what else do I have for you guys here? So we can actually swap, we can play around the images as we know already, right? So this is all done already. I want to click this one sample inside there. You all can try if you want to, right? So I have a folder here called additional, all right? Custom name input. So we can try to put this. So sometimes people want to make their own names, right? Let me close this. Yes. Oh, don't hang up. Oh shit. Okay, fine. So I can close this script for a while, right? So if I want to check out this custom name input, is actually in the form of a game also. So I'll just come over here and drop this custom name input over this thing here, right? What's multiple input? I can't remember really what I did. Okay, never mind. So we leave this for time being. Custom name input. All right. So I think I need to refresh this Shift R. Okay, so now we have this thing custom name input. You can take a look at the script here. So you can use something that looks like this. Now putting a hash in front of the line, right? Just comments it lah. So that means this line is not actually read lah, right? Okay. So here, let's see what happens when we try this. So define the character. This is SA lah, right? This is something I made up. A simulation architect. This is the name of some fancy character, right? So label start. This is the beginning scene, right? So this character says, "Welcome to the simulation." Then we use this $sign display underscore name RenPy input. How can we address you, right? And then yeah, so as player underscore name strip. So let's try it out. Let's just go play it. All right. Right. So we got the simulation architect talking to you, right? So how can we address you now? We can actually type in something lah. Jimmy, all right, and I press enter. So pleased to meet you, Jimmy. So now every time, where is it? Every time you reference this, it will actually pull in the name that you entered, right? Now these extra lines, right? The would be in case you remove all the accidental spaces. If you key in the name with spacebar, right, it will remove all the additional space lah, right? Or if this line over here, right? Or if no input key is keyed in, then this will be the default name, unnamed. So if player name equals nothing, right? Then they will set it to unnamed, right? So no matter what, something will be placed there, lah, right? And then whenever you want to call back the name, you just use back the same. I'll call it. It's called a variable, Ken. I can't recall, right? Right? Or I don't really know. I just use as is only lah. So pleased to meet you, and then done. So you can actually create a lot of like stuff you can key in yourself lah. Yeah, it is right. I don't know what's the proper term lah. I need some programmers to help me, right? So that's keying your own input in. Yeah. So let's just try to build this game. I just demonstrate to you how to build this game. Close this picture over here. So whenever I want to add more pictures in, right, I can just go to the images folder and throw stuff in. Now, what I want here, which is interesting, is this is a picture of a cosplayer, right? So you just cut out the background and stuff. And the cool thing about RenPy is it allows you to use any picture. So I'm not saying go and steal someone's cosplay pictures, but if you happen to not be a good artist, for instance, right, you can even get friends who are cosplayers, right, and use photograph instead to create characters. Take photos of them, cut them out, and then you can actually start using them. Right. Usually in this kind of games, right, the characters have multiple facial expressions, so you can like if you plan correctly, you can tell your friends, okay, I want a photo of you smiling, shocked, angry, sad, right? And then you prepare a whole library of them, right? So you can even people that even if you're non-artist, right? This is a great way to get started. Also, you can still tell stories even without an artist. You just need to some basic Photoshop skills to cut out stuff, lah, right? And then you can have Nezuko inside your game, really, right? Same way as it goes. How will it look? Let's try. Image Nez equals cosplay.png. All right, so I can always come here and the treasure show Nez, is it correct? Nez, yeah. Show Nez at center. Okay. So maybe the treasure is Nezuko lah. All right. So we go to launch the project itself. Start. Okay. That. Now I need to insult him to get a key. Insult him. All right. The key appears. Life goes on. They come across the treasure chest, and it's good thing they have a key. And then, boom. Oops. Sorry. See, I didn't plan the size properly. Right? I used the wrong size. But in a way, it's the proper height lah. Right. So they look like tiny little dwarfs now, right? So they retire happily ever after. Right. Okay. That's more or less okay. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to build the thing, right? So building an exe file so you can sell or share to your friend, right? You just go to build distribution, it will scan the project, it will ask you what platform do you want to build for, right? So if it's just for PC and then we ignore the Mac people because we're like that, and master race and all that, so blah 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 blah. Let's go to build. It scans, right? It creates this folder over here. All right. So yeah, see, this is our zip file. And if we were to let's close this first, open a zip file, right? We will have this folder. People can just download it, and it's good to go already. Just run this file, the .exe file, right? And there you go. The game works. Right. Hello, Victor. So you can install. Okay, and the story works like a charm. Thank you for playing. Done. Right? Quit the game. So so it's actually one of the you're talking about using any other platform, right? Say there are more steps to go about getting your product out there, lah, right? So this is actually a pretty cool way to get started. And if I go open RenPy again, right? So the more advanced stuff will be things like how do you change the GUI? If I open the GUI file, right? You can change things. You can make the dialogue appear like step by step. Let me see. Hide text box align, right? Dialogue speed. The dialogue speed. I can't remember the dialogue speed rate. Yeah, but a lot of this can slowly be changed, lah, right? And positioning and such, right? And the interesting part is you can always go and find most of the stuff I just showed you guys, not in the RenPy game list, in the documentation here. And if I'm not mistaken, the original RenPy is actually a Japanese software lah. So this is the translated one lah. So you can see all these text displays, displayables, transform, transitions, right? Customizing the software itself, tools, other functionality, and a lot more other things to get you started lah, right? Yeah, you can see the RenPy language. Dialogue narration, displaying images, in-game menu, Python statements, conditional statements, audio. Yeah, you can put audio, play music, right? Background music, voiceovers, adjust all this stuff, right? Customizing RenPy itself. So there are a lot of tools here, but even without touching all these tools, with the basic stuff that was shown today, it's actually enough to start telling a story, lah, right? Especially a story about duality. Yeah. So are there any questions so far, or is it so straightforward that there are no questions? Right. I will lean more to the fact that it's so straightforward. There are no questions. Yeah. It looks more like that lah. It's pretty simple and you can actually download. If I'm not mistaken, you can actually download first files and then open it up to check it out, right? Because if you were to look at the game here, right? The files are all here actually. So if you download a game and you find that, hey, this game has a cool like feature or function that we never come across before, right? You can try to reverse engineer and learn it lah. Yeah. And yeah, so super quick. Actually, that concludes the speedy workshop already. Um, because also I'm at my limitations as an artist, so I didn't dive super deep into it. But for people who maybe do not have the technical like acumen, right, like myself, this is actually a good starting point, right? Yeah. So any questions from you guys? Anything that you want to like bring up or well, mention? Right. I particularly like the fact that you can use photographs, you can use drawing, sketches, anything you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be the beautiful anime waifu kind of artwork, right? You can like the game we saw, the tomato game. Where's tomato game? Yeah, this tomato game. This style also relatively doable, right? You can even use pixel art if you feel like it. Text speed, yeah. You can just text speed to the words. If I'm not mistaken, they appear like typing. Right? Yes. Yeah, so you can actually create a text that appear this way. GIF files, I don't. GIF animation, I don't think so. Right? GIF files, I did not try it to be honest, but I don't think GIF files are part of it. Right? Also, GIF files sometimes the transparency not so nice lah. So I personally would prefer to use a PNG if I wanted something with transparency. If I wanted something with animation, then a different thing altogether lah. Right? So this one is yeah, it's a nice style. It's a very nice style to go about. How to make different chapters. So it's just adding on how to say it's going to be one super long script.rpy lah. Right? So these are all like different scenes, but it just depends on how you want to name it lah. Right? So you can actually name this whole thing chapter 1 first. Right? And then here you create lah chapter 2 lah. You can label this this is the divider for chapter 2, right? And then you can start your story over here lah, right? Jimmy continues or whatever you want to put there. All right, does that answer the question? But this can be super duper long lah, you know? So yeah, especially when you want to do like multiple like we're just showing you two choices in the menu, right? You can actually do more than two choices, right? But after a while it starts to get very messy, things going back and forth and stuff like that. So planning is important. Personally, sometimes I might use for me to write a quick story, right? I might use something called Twinery. Twine Twine is another. You can make games with Twine also, right? Twine produces HTML games. Let's see whether I got any game. You can download it or you can use it online also. For chapter or file separation, so we can check this out. What's this? Thanks a lot. Different chapters. Okay. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the share. Later, I think I'll copy this link out also lah. I also provided one file inside the folder or resource link, right? This one is also another. If you guys want some artwork, right? There's actually a whole table of contents of artwork that is available for people, or even audio and stuff, backgrounds, right? Which are maybe more made for RenPy lah. All this. There's a huge variety of different quality style inside this community. Well, some looks quite okay, right? A lot of 3D backgrounds and stuff like that. So now, sorry, let me go back to Twine. Let's see what John said. In short, easy to maintain your code, separate code in several files. Also, you can actually separate the code into several files. Okay. Right, maybe something I need to look at after this. Right. So Twine is another game. It's a simple web game engine, right? So it looks like this one, right? You can create your scenes, and then you can create the interconnecting branches, right? And then you can press play. Right? So choice go to 02, right? Lunch. So you can just test your writing here, right? This is one maybe recommendation, or you can just go and write in a notebook somewhere, right? I think it might be easier to write in a notebook as well, right? So that you can plan your story, because it can get pretty complicated with hundreds of choices or hundreds of lines of the code, right? You can start to get lost along the way, all right. Yeah. Thanks for the link. Maybe I'll just save your link and I'll put them inside the folder as well for future reference here. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So, any one of you guys find this useful? Do you think that it's something that you might want to explore? Maybe not for this game jam, or maybe for this game jam as well, but in terms of let's say other projects. Because if I'm not mistaken, there is a company in Indonesia where they started developing this kind of visual novels, and they produced a few of them, and then after a while they actually became a whole business, right? So they specialize in producing this kind of content, so they're very focused to a certain market as well, right? Even the Indonesian Toge, they are playing the role of publisher now. They're actually very into this kind of games, a bit more indie and such. So it's also a valid opportunity for people looking to get into it, right? So hopefully this was useful. If no other questions, I think then we can end it quick. It was shorter than I expected. Y'all any question? Anything you know, like preparing artwork for like cropping artwork or something like in Photoshop. If y'all would y'all like to know that, or is it something that you already know? If this is if you don't need to, you don't need to, then we can just call it a day here, right? And then probably I'll hopefully see you guys in the next bonus round, which should be tomorrow. Yeah, so Ken, yeah, great. So you have a crash course now. It's really simple in a sense. Yeah, you see me floundering because I'm just bad at remembering how to all my syntax and stuff like that, right? But for you who have technical background, I think should be relatively straightforward, lah. You know, I demonstrate this maybe like once every 6 months. So by the time I come back to it, right, I've totally forgotten everything, right? But if I were to evangelize for any engine which is fun to use, I would definitely look for RenPy, lah. All right. So do keep the files if you all want it to. In hindsight, I do need to edit the files. I think I made some errors there, so I need to test them out. But for those of you who already know it, then can just edit there, lah. Yeah. So hopefully you guys go deeper, and then you guys going to make much more amazing stuff, for sure. But yeah, I've also toyed with the idea of using this kind of RenPy games, right, to make advertisements for businesses as well. So, for example, right, if you have a service, instead of maybe just creating a video that explains the service, you can make a pseudo kind of like RenPy game that talks about the service. You have characters and stuff like that, right? It could be a potential opportunity for businesses, lah, right? Like even for Ken, like, you know how UW wants to sell their course, right? And they want to talk about what programs are available, right? So creating a RenPy game as a virtual brochure, right, could be something that's quite interesting to explore also. Yeah. All right. Okay. Something to think. Yeah, do for masters, yeah, postgrad. Right. All right. So in great opportunity. Yeah. Right. Okay, so I will probably call it for now, right? John, we'll catch up at about maybe 9 p.m. tonight lah. We have our meeting. Let me go hash out some more details about the game itself, and then we meet up with together. We've got some people interested, so we got sound people and all that, so should be quite interesting as well lah. All right. We have one more, maybe a bit more senior programmer. Maybe he can work with you also, so you can pick his brains about certain things. All right. So we'll catch up then. All right. So I'm gonna end the recording now. So thank you for coming. All right. Thanks for attending.